Thanks for joining us on this episode of Chatting with the Chamber, the podcast where we chat with local business owners in and around Whitley County, Indiana, learning about their services and the stories behind their success. Join us as we explore the quirky and fascinating tales of small business owners and learn more about the heart and soul of our community. Stronger together.
Hi.
Hi, Abby.
Hi.
Thanks for joining us today.
Happy to be
This
here.
is episode 10 of Chatting with the Chamber.
Oh, I mean,
That's like a milestone.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
So, we want to hear your story. Tell
Okay.
us everything from start to finish to where you are now, maybe what's next.
Well, how much time do you got?
Right.
No, so I guess it all starts with I'm originally from Goshen, Indiana, so not far from here at all. Went to Indiana University in Bloomington. Studied in telecommunications, audio and video production in the telecommunications department, and I thought, it was the late '90s. The Food Network was the next big thing. I was like, ooh, I want to do that. And I don't know if that's ever happened to you, where you watch something, you're like,
Of course.
I can do that.
Yeah.
I know I can do that. And that's exactly how I felt. Like there was something inside me that was like, that's it. So I thought, I'm going to go get my culinary degree. So I moved out to Rhode Island, to Providence, and I went to Johnson & Wales.
So cool.
Yeah, I already had my bachelor's degree, so I didn't need another one. So I did their 2-year program. And the last thing you have to do is an internship. So I did mine at what was then the Westin Providence. It's now the Omni Providence. And that's where I met Craig, my husband. And we after a while, got together, and we were both working in the kitchen. And then he got promoted to sous chef. And they said, well, you guys can't work together because technically he's your boss.
Mm-hmm.
So they said, do you have any front of the house experience? I said, well, yeah, that's how I got myself, not through high school, but those are the types of jobs I had in high school and college. So I said, yeah, I can absolutely do that. So I started managing front of the house, and that's how I got on that trajectory. He stayed back of the house, I stayed front, and I never made it to the Food Network because then he proposed. And yeah, so we're like, okay, we're gonna get married. So we got married in Rhode Island, and then we thought, okay, well, we need to move because chefs, you can't stay in the same place. You get stagnant.
Right.
You need the experience.
Mm-hmm.
So we ended up outside of. We were shooting for Chicago. We ended up in Wisconsin. We were there for a little bit, and then we made it to Chicago. He was at the Renaissance Schaumburg, and then I was working for Fairmont. And then 2008 happened, and we both lost our jobs. Fortunately, the Renaissance is part of the Marriott family, so they were able to transfer him. So that's how we ended up in St. Louis. They transferred him to the Ritz. A lot of people don't know Ritz is part of the Marriott family as well. Marriott just kind of lets Ritz do what they do.
Yep.
So we were down there for a little over a year again, and where I was like, well, not exactly where I wanted to be. I'm being from Goshen. Chicago was kind of perfect because I was 3 hours from my family. If we had been in Boston, we would have been an hour from Craig's family. So I said, we've been here for a little bit. Let's try to get back to one of those places so we can be closer to family and have that. Because we wanted to start a family of our own. So we ended up in Boston. And Craig started working for the Marriott Copley as their lead sous chef. And then I started working for the Mandarin Oriental, which was an opportunity that I never thought I'd have.
That's huge.
But I wasn't managing anymore because after 2008, people weren't really looking for managers anymore. They didn't want to pay us, which I get. So I started serving again, and I was working the dinner service there at the Mandarin Oriental at what was then the what were we called? Asana. We're called the Asana restaurant. And then after a few years of that, there was a rumor that Chef Daniel Ballou was going to come and take over our restaurant. So we're thinking, oh my gosh, what a great opportunity. And that's exactly what happened. So I've been there for about 4 or 5 years, and Chef Daniel Ballou came in, and
that's big.
So
your eyes are like,
well, I'd always wondered, like, how do you work for a chef of that caliber?
Right.
How do you get that opportunity? Right. And for me, it just kind of fell into my lap.
Right.
But because of the standards of his group is called Dynex Group and the Mandarin Oriental, their values were aligned. So it wasn't a matter of having to reapply for my job or interview for my job. He
just morphed right into it.
And it was a very smooth transition.
Very cool.
So I was with Mandarin for almost 10 years. And Craig was also, he had been the senior sous chef or lead banquet chef there at the Copley. He then took a promotion over at the Renaissance Waterfront in Boston to become, I think, I can't remember the exact title. It was like banquet sous chef of banquets. And then he was offered a position to be the executive chef of the Renaissance Foxborough, which he loved, being a New England boy.
Yeah.
So he's right there by Foxborough Stadium, so he can watch the Patriots play. Like he'd love that. So he was there for a little while, and then he got the job offer for the executive chef position at the New England Aquarium, back in the city, but at the waterfront. So, while this is all going on, the life of a chef, it's literally get up, go to work, come home, take a shower, go to sleep, go to work. Yeah. It's like wash, rinse, repeat over and over. So I said, you need a hobby. So I got him one of those beer making kits, and from like Sam's Club or something, and he made his first beer. He's like, yeah, pretty good. And the next thing I know, he's ordering stuff from northernbrewer.com.
Like another box.
All this stuff is coming to my house. I'm like, this was not the plan.
Abby. Yeah.
This wasn't the plan. Then he's making fermenters out of household items, and he's making chillers out of coolers. Half of my garage is gone. The refrigerator in the basement that I used for when the kids would have their birthday parties, I needed a place to put the cake. All of a sudden, there's a cake in there, or something aging. It's a lager, and he needs a cold temperature. I'm like, what is going on?
Keys are now.
Wait. So that kind of blew up in my face a little bit, but
I don't know how that is at all.
But in the meantime, family and friends are telling Craig, your beer is really good. You need to do something with this. So he submitted to Best of Boston Homebrew, and he ended up winning. One, he submitted to 3 categories. One he didn't place, but one he won the entire category. And then the second one, I think he came in like 2nd or 3rd. And I'm thinking, it's your first year.
Yeah.
So everyone's like, Craig,
He's got skills.
you gotta do something with this. He's one of those guys that if he looks at something, he's like, yeah, I can make that.
Yeah, and he does.
And he does.
Yeah.
I can't. It blows my mind. So he's like, yeah, I kind of want to do something with this. And after having been in St. Louis with a really great barbecue, and having the beer now, he's like, you know what? I just want my own place. I want to cook. I want to cook barbecue. I want to brew beer, and I want to own my own place. And I said, well, honey, it's not going to happen here in Boston because we don't have $1 billion in our pocket.
Exactly.
I mean, property value. I mean, everything out there is just crazy. And then I said, if we do something like that, we'd have to go back home to Indiana. He's like, well, let's start looking. So we were kind of looking, kind of not. And then I was having this conversation with a friend of mine in Goshen. She said, oh my gosh, what you just described is for sale in Warsaw. These 2 guys were doing it. They were successful. Something happened. They split up the partnership. And this building's sitting there. You should check it out. So we did. We cyber stalked it first. And then we started sending some messages, and we were getting responses back from one of the previous owners. And then we thought, okay, well, let's go look.
Right.
So Grandma watched the kids in Boston, and we flew out at like 5 a.m., got to Fort Wayne, drove up, looked at the place for about 3 or 4 hours, met friends for dinner, spent the night at their house, got on a plane the next day and flew back to Boston. The kids barely even knew we were gone.
Right.
Yeah. Like, oh, Grandma, hey.
Right.
Grandma took us to school today. So we thought about it. We're like, okay, we're going to do it. Now, this is all happening in the summer of 2019.
Right.
And the fall of 2019. So we're thinking, hey, what could possibly go wrong?
Right.
Can't think of a single thing.
So we had papers signed, we had earnest money down, things were happening, and then COVID hit, and we're like, okay, what do we do now? And Craig said, we keep moving forward. So that's exactly what we did. And to make a very, very long story short, or to try to shorten this story, we closed on the restaurant at the end of July 2020. I told Craig, I need you for at least 2 weeks at the house to help me get stuff situated, and then you can go play. And he got into that restaurant, and between friends and family, we remodeled and changed things around, and we were open for our first day of business, December 9th, 2020.
Wow.
With barbecue only. So we are, as we've kind of discussed, we are a barbecue restaurant, and we're also a microbrewery. So we had the barbecue to start, and then we kind of closed down a little bit for the holidays just because. And then we reopened on January 6th, and we got our brewing license at the end of January. But as Jen well knows, just because you have your license doesn't mean you're going to have beer the next day. So then we had to get our accounts set up, get the grain ordered, get everything in, and then brew, and then ferment. We had our first beer the last weekend of March 2021. Yeah. And it's been onward and upward ever since. We started with one beer, and now we have 11. We have 10 on tap and one in the back room that we do special, and
Very cool.
we can and we bottle. And the restaurant side, we have the restaurant, we cater, we have a food truck. Gosh,
Yeah. You got it all.
we do a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
But your catering doesn't necessarily have to be barbecue, correct?
No, I mean Craig has worked in kitchens since he was 15 years old, so he knows if you can dream it, he can do it. Like seriously, we've done New England catering job, New England style catering jobs, clam bakes. We've done Italian, as you guys experienced not that long ago. Of course, we always do the barbecue, but if it's something that you have in your head, if there's a particular style, Craig can make it happen.
That's
I mean,
awesome.
we're looking at doing like a traditional Oktoberfest
Mhm.
next fall.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have, it's gonna be amazing. You also have a great outdoor patio area.
Mhm.
We do.
Large area, send the kids out, have,
Mhm.
your pet friendly out there.
Our location, we're in a really weird spot in Warsaw. We're in the northwest, I call it the northwest corner. And we are just kind of tucked away. You can obviously, any GPS will find us. But once you get back there, it's beautiful.
Yeah, you have woods back there, and
It's gorgeous.
Yeah. It's something you don't normally see. It's not just going to a strip mall or just some industrial building and having a beer. And I will tell you, you have a cult following of people. And
Yes.
and it's
But in
it's crazy.
a good
Yeah,
way.
in a real good way. Even if it was in a bad way, it's still But you also have Give Back Wednesdays, correct?
Yeah, so once a month we give back to the community. So what Craig and I did, how it started was there is an employee of ours who, while her son was in utero, we knew there was a problem with his heart. So that she said, hey, is there a way that we can do a give back to help pay for his hospital bills at Riley?
Right.
I said, what is this you
Right.
speak of? So she explained to me how the process works, and now we do, and it was very successful. It did very well. So now we do one a month, usually on a Thursday, sometimes on Wednesdays, where we find a nonprofit or sometimes it's local sports teams like the Warsaw Aquatic Club. We do a give back for. We do it for Cardinal Services. We do it for the Gone Boarding at the WACC there at the high school. It's their career center. And what we do is we say, okay, all sales for the day except alcohol, 20% of all non-alcohol sales, we will give back to your organization.
That's awesome.
All we ask is, bring some people in and
help
serve and clear some
Promote.
tables and and then
Talk about
promote it.
Yeah.
And then I get us, I blast our social media and I try to get us on the community calendars and stuff. And they've been very successful. And we do one a month.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing we do is, so we also have a mug club because we're a microbrewery, right? So, and everybody wants mug number one. Everybody. So what we do is we auction off mug number one. And the cost of our mug club right now is $60 a year. However, the bidding starts at $60 for mug number one. Anything over that will be given to a charity of the winner's choice. So I think for the last couple of years, the winner,
Jason.
last year was Jason Rich from the Kettleheads. Year before that was a patron and a friend who was from Middlebury. They wanted the money to go to the Rathke Swim Scholarship in Goshen, Indiana.
Cool.
And then Jason Rich, I think he had to go to CASA.
Yeah,
I think he had to go to CASA.
Yeah.
So it's wherever they wanted to go to.
Very cool.
Yeah. I think the last couple of years the bidding's been around $400 or $500
It was like over
too.
500 with Jason.
Yeah.
Because we were
Very
harassing him.
cool.
So minus 6
For
to
a
pay for your
mug,
mug
right?
club, and then- yeah. So pretty cool.
Yeah.
So that's coming up here pretty soon too.
Very cool.
Yeah.
You've created a cool atmosphere there too that I think that a lot of people travel for.
And that's what we're going for. We're family friendly. Kids can come in. It's because it's state liquor laws. We have a little wall around our bar. So the rest is family dining room, and then of course the outside. And you mentioned the outside, Jen. That's one of the things that drew us to the property and to the location. Because Craig and I, when we were standing there looking at everything before we purchased, we thought that I see parents sitting here enjoying barbecue and beer, and then
kids running amok over there.
Kids running around,
Yeah.
and you can see your kids and everything, and no one's coming down that road unless they're coming to my restaurant.
Exactly.
I mean, it's not a thoroughfare. I mean, they're not blowing through or anything, so it's great.
It's offering something that nobody else has at the time.
Yeah.
And that's what you do, and that's what people talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, the food is phenomenal. So
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
They do a deep fried rib that is you can't get anywhere else.
I don't know, the Italian at the Chamber dinner,
I know.
that was pretty
I
good
know.
too.
And and what is your mom? Was it your mom's biscotti recipe?
No,
Or
it's
was it-
actually it's my
That's
my
yours.
biscotti
That's your-
recipe.
yeah.
I made those.
that was pretty darn good biscotti.
What was funny about that is we wanted to do the cookie tray for you, guys,
Right.
the Italian cookie tray, and Craig wasn't happy with anything he was seeing. I was like, fine, I'll just make them.
Yeah.
Everything was handed.
You're like, hold my
everything.
beer.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
My beer.
Yeah, he did this. Yeah, and he's like telling us, so we're sitting there because like usually every Wednesday or Thursday night you can find us at Ledgeview.
Yep.
And we're family. And he's like, oh, I was dreaming of doing a tiramisu, but doing like a bananas, and I just thought this, and when you're in the restaurant trade, everything is about food. And,
Oh, yeah.
and it's just you're always thinking of something and some ingredient, and I love going there, so we talk food.
Yeah,
That's
it's
just
creative,
yeah.
creative minds that are brainstorming.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun. Then, Jay can go in the back and do his
They talk
beer
beer,
talk.
yeah.
And,
Talk beer.
and I can have the most. I won't even serve clam chowder at our places. It's not going to happen. If you want the best clam chowder in this region of Indiana, you just go there. Because really, they're from Boston. I mean, are you not really?
Right.
I mean,
So,
and that
Brought
was
it from Boston.
well, it was
and
funny.
it's all smoked. The potatoes are smoked. That's why. I mean, it's just there's such
the flavor.
amazing flavors.
The flavor this kid
Yeah.
gets at
Yeah.
and I call Craig a kid. He's 43 years old. He's not a kid.
But
At heart.
He's so talented. I mean, you can't. And people come in there like, "Do you really have the best clam chowder in
Yeah.
the area?" It's like, well, the chef's from New England, so.
Right. I'd hope so.
Yeah.
Well, the funny story about that was he was asked to compete in a chowder competition while he was the executive chef of the aquarium, and they're like, "Yeah, come." He said, "Yeah, sure." Well, the competition happened. Craig came in second. But the guy that won was with the group that put on the competition. So that's how it's supposed to be. Craig won.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the chowder we actually sell. And actually, the reason why we put it up was people were asking for I can't say meatless because it has
Right.
clams in it, but
Yeah.
during Lent, the people
Yeah.
who could only eat seafood,
Right.
they asked if they could have his chowder. And the special thing about Craig's chowder is there's no bacon in
There's
it.
none. It's the smoke that just comes from the smoke. Yeah.
It's pescatarian. It's 100% pescatarian. So we put it on the menu, and people were like, "This is amazing!" Like, and plus it's a barbecue joint with New England club chowder. Yeah, I guess. So it did very well, and then summer came, and Indiana's not really it's not really a creamy soup
Right.
weather type of thing. Chili does very well, ironically. But-
Year round. Yeah.
So we took it off the menu, and then people were like, "Where's the chowder? Where's the chowder? What? You
Yeah.
took it off the menu? Oh, okay. I'll tell you what. I'll make a deal with you. When it gets cold outside, we'll put the chowder back on the menu. Okay." And I kid you not, like September 16th, like the day the weather turned, when's the chowder coming back? When's the chowder coming back? When's the chowder? And I went back to Craig. I said, "I guess we got to make the chowder again." Okay. And from that, it hasn't come off the menu since.
No.
Wow.
It's what
We run out.
Yeah.
But we run out
Right.
because
Right.
People want it.
people want it. People call us. "Do you have the chowder?" "Okay, we're coming." I'm like, "Okay, Craig, we're not running out of chowder." "No, we're not running out of chowder." Craig, you just made a fresh batch.
Your wings, the sauces, just everything's homemade. Everything.
The
is
sweet potato
created.
The sweet potato
Oh
nachos.
yeah, that's just a
Yes.
gimme. Everybody, yeah. It's probably one of the most photographed item. That and the piggy burger.
Yep, the
Yeah.
piggy burger.
Yeah, everybody wants to take it. You can hear the cameras going
Oh,
off
yeah.
when they bring the
Your
food
phone
out.
eats first, always,
Yeah.
especially in environments like that where
Yeah.
it looks that good.
Yeah.
Well, you've always been a huge supporter of the chamber.
Yep.
And we get a lot of comments that Ledgeview is in Kosciuszko County. We have always been firm believers on being a chamber member in your region. It's networking,
Oh, absolutely.
especially when you don't have certain businesses in your own county. And we appreciate your support, always being there. First ones to give if we're in need of something. People need to understand that we have such a broad reach. And it's just like us having a business here in Whitley County. We belong to Kosciuszko. We belong
Yeah.
to Allen or Hunting,
Mhm.
other counties for chamber membership, because it is all about supporting local and getting the people there and knowing each other. And
Well,
so we appreciate that.
It's a different environment. I mean, yes, I'm in Kosciuszko County, but I think of it more as it's northern Indiana.
Yeah.
And even not, I mean, and really,
we share the border.
it's
We're-
Indiana.
Yeah, it's quicker to get to you than to other places in Whitley County. I mean,
And like you said, not everything is where you want it to be. I mean, I know I need to go to Sam's Club every now and again. I'm going to Allen County, or I'm going to St. Joe County. So
Exactly.
they're just, you don't always have what you need in your county.
Exactly.
But we try to be there for anyone and everyone.
and you are, and they always give back, and we really appreciate that. And we can send somebody to you, and they're like, thank you. We've had situations from memorial services to weddings to special occasions, but so we're coming into holiday season.
Yeah.
So let's touch
Rapidly.
on right. So if they need food, if they need catering, food truck, whatever, what do they need to do?
They just actually, the first thing to do, call.
Okay.
Absolutely call. I'm there every morning, most every morning. I usually have to leave around 3 o'clock to get my kids from school.
Yeah.
But if you catch me there in the morning or in the early afternoon, I'll be happy to sit down on the phone with you, or even come on in.
Right.
I will sit down with you. We'll go over the catering form. I'll tell you what you need. I'll tell you what you don't need.
Right.
I mean, yeah, we're all good little capitalists. We're here to pay the bills. But I'm not gonna sell you a yacht when really all you need is a speed boat.
Exactly. Yeah. Perfect.
And the possibilities are endless.
Possibilities are endless. And one other thing that I do that because I found it frustrating when I was trying to plan, let's say my wedding, for instance. One of the things that I found really frustrating is you go online, I couldn't find prices. I never knew what I was getting myself into, and the next thing I know, I was wrapped up in some contract, and I didn't even really know how I'd gotten there. So I have everything listed on our website, prices and everything. All you really need to call me for is, hey, I've got 100 people coming. Okay, great. Then I think you're going to need X amount of meat. And you can distribute that amongst it however you want. You need this many sides, and the prices are there. Everything's in black and white, so you know exactly what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah. And that was one of the first things that was mentioned last night. So you just did an event for us at the brewery, and it was John's like, she nailed it. It was exactly what we needed. We had just enough left over that they took back to the Airbnb, and they had food for today to snack on. That was it. I mean, it was good. You didn't. There wasn't any extra laying around. Nothing. It was very impressive.
Excellent.
And he was so impressed by that, and that you were so easy to work with.
Yeah.
And so I love that.
That's the other thing. Being easy to work with, communicative, all those things. It's so important.
Yeah. And it's all about quality. She probably asked me 3 times, is everything okay? She should leave. And so she handed it off to us, and we're like, we're good. We're good. Don't worry. We can do this. But she checked us, let me tell you.
And then this morning, I think I texted you 3 times. But did they like it?
Right.
But did they like it?
It was all good.
Wonderful. Well, thank you again so much for all of your support.
Hey, I'm
Okay,
happy to be
address
here.
and phone number.
Okay, address 975 Warren Street, Warren, Warsaw, Indiana. And our phone number is 574-376-4445. And you can find us online at ledgeviewbrewing.com.
Okay. And you're on Facebook.
And
Yeah,
we're on
we'll add
Facebook
your links
and
and everything to
Instagram.
the caption too, so people can click.
Yeah, I highly recommend people if they don't do Facebook, follow us on Instagram. If you don't do Instagram, follow us on Facebook. If there's a new beer coming out,
It's all on there. We don't have time to be updating websites. We
Yeah.
just don't.
I mean, I do the best I can with the website. Website's pretty general. I always have a little blurb on there. I try to keep it current. But if you want to know, like right now we're doing our holiday takeout menu for Thanksgiving, which will roll into Christmas. We do a holiday carryout menu where people can literally order their turkey and their beef and or their pork with sides, and they pick it up the day before the holiday or the day before they're going to celebrate. We give them reheat instructions. Everything's cooked. Boom. Done.
Wonderful.
Sounds good.
You can put it in your own dish and tell people it's yours.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Right.
It's like the Rice Krispies commercial. She comes out with the flour.
Right.
Look how hard I worked.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So all that information. Usually everything is updated on Instagram and Facebook all the time.
Fantastic.
Great.
All right.
Well, thank you again for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me. I
Awesome.
appreciate it.
We'll have you back.
Awesome.